Let's move on, Brad. Did you see the news that came out today?
No, probably not.
It is, well, first of all, happy birthday to D'Angelo Pons. This is D'Angelo Pons' birthday. And one of the things that happened today, I'm not sure if it was a birthday present, but it did act like it, is Indiana Edits of the All For You pod. Shout out to Indiana Edits. Made a tweet referencing a pond, an unnamed pond at Miller Showers Park in Bloomington, Indiana. And he said we should rename this D'Angelo's Pond. And it picked up a whole bunch of steam online. And if you go on Google right now and you look up D'Angelo's Pond, right there next to Memorial Stadium is D'Angelo's Pond.
I'm lowering my desk, but I did actually see that. I did see what that was all about, and as I'm getting lowered down to my level. Super cool. Definitely deserves. I mean, I feel like a lot of these guys should have things in Bloomington named after them. Like, more so, like, there's going to be, knock on wood, let's assume in the world where they get it done, right? They win.
I want to hold your tongue because we have a lot to talk about. So I don't even want to talk about, I don't want to turn into an SEC podcast here. Like, I want to talk about things.
The Rock Street, I don't know, just throwing it out there. We got a lot of numbered streets out there in Bloomington. I think we can make some changes around here. I think we can do something special. Anyways.
I like where your head's at. I really, really like where your head's at. We talked about it a little bit, or actually, I'm not sure if me and you shared any words about it, but you were in the group chat. There is a new redshirt rule, or at least the coaches unanimously voted on it. They're sending it to some sort of rules committee that who knows what exists, but essentially, they're changing it from 4 games to redshirt to 9, which is basically 5 years to play 4, and the fact that they won't call it that is ridiculous. But yeah, so it seems like the new redshirt rule is going to be 9 games, and you can redshirt instead of 4 games. For some reason, and this was reported by On3's Pete Nakos, they didn't talk about the schedule at all. So the most pressing issue in college football, that if you can't go 6 seconds without talking to a college football fan that says the schedule is the number one issue, and they had all the coaches at a meeting and didn't talk about it. So, God, who knows who's running this shit, but
all I'm saying is I have a job, and I would be willing to leave for the college football commissioner job. I would be willing to do it. That's all I'm saying.
It's very noble.
I will step up to the plate and be that guy. So I think I do pretty well, honestly. I think I bring a lot of good ideas. And I think I'm a good listener, right? I'm willing to learn and listen to people and make the best decision based on the knowledge that I'm given. Anyways, that's my pitch for CFP commissioner. Great rule change. It's still limited to 1 red shirt, so it's fine. Thanks. This is perfect because we're away from the COVID year, so it's actually a great time to do it. I like this rule because it's a good medium between the 4 or 5 years of eligibility, because I think that's just bullshit. We're missing the plot, right? Like, this idea of it should be 4 years in a red shirt. Now, changing the red shirt rule from 4 to 9 games, I think is really great, and here's why. Can't think of the amount of times where a player who is doing really well and just suffers a season-ending injury mid-year, late in the year, and then just like, boom, career over. Like, it's like, I don't know. I think allowing that to not happen as much is great, right? As long as they didn't use another red shirt, right? If they're like a true junior, true senior, and they're making a playoff push, having a great career, and then boom, season-ending injury, like, yeah, you should, you should get another shot at it, I think. And I think that's a good rule. But we got to keep it there. We can't keep moving goalposts. All right? Like, I guess this rule hasn't been changed in decades, so I guess there's nothing really to worry about. But, in this day and age, it seems like goalposts are being moved really fast. But, yeah, overall, I like this rule. I think it's a good rule. I think it's pro-player, which I'm always about. And, yeah, that's all I got.
I agree. Did you see? I know we are not an NFL podcast, but I just want to just squash this conversation. Tomlin stepped down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He didn't get fired. He didn't. I don't think he retired. I think he just stepped down. So technically, they have his rights and they can trade him, much like happened to Sean Payton. But obviously, naturally, everybody goes, well, who's the best coach in the country right now? It's Curt Cignetti. And where's Curt Cignetti from? He's from Pittsburgh. And you see where I'm going with this. And there's multiple people talking about how Curt Cignetti could be the next head coach of Pittsburgh, of the Raiders, of any of that. I want to give you a soapbox to just slaughter that narrative and how ridiculous it is, because I've called it a public IQ test, and holy shit, are people failing?
Yeah, he's never gonna go. I'll say that he's a college guy. Like, he's always gonna be a college guy. Like, that's what he wants to do. His dad was a college coach. His dad was a college coach. His dad's dad was a college coach, and the Cignettis have been college coaching for centuries. That's an exaggeration, but that's how he feels. Like, he's not going to get a statue in Pittsburgh. I've said this before. It's the statue argument, right? I actually think, like, to Cignetti's, as he should be, very arrogant, very self-belief, right? Like, egotistical in a way, to where it's like, I know what to do and I'm the man and I'm turning this around. Like, I think he wants to be the god of Bloomington. Like, I think that's what he wants, and he's built it. Like, why would he leave? Why would he leave and risk destroying the legacy that he worked so hard and bet on himself and worked all the way up, just after 2 years in Indiana, win a natty, go to the NFL and go 500 in 3 years and get fired? Like, he's a great coach. I think he could do well. I think he could coach an NFL room. I think he'd be very qualified for it when it comes to, like, going from college to the NFL. Like, he has these pillars that actually will translate. Do your job, right? Like, 11 guys doing their jobs, fast, physical, relentless. Like, that will translate to the NFL. It just will. He won't go, though. The one thing the reason why, like, seeing him in those Pittsburgh Steelers edits, I'm just like, man, he's so much like Bill Cowher. And I love that. Like, like the mean mugging football coach, never happy, like always pissed. Like, he literally is like Bill Cowher in that way. And so it fits. It's a fit. I'll tell you that. It's a fit. I don't think it happens.
Brad. Let me do a much better job of slaughtering the narrative than you, because I listened to his.
I slaughtered. I just said it's not going to happen.
You did, but he made an appearance at.
I don't like the idea. I'm just like him in that he is so much like Bill Cowher, to where it's like, as a football fan, it's like, ooh, that's kind of cool. But obviously, as an Indiana fan, I hate it. I want to throw up, and it won't. And
let me put the narrative to bed here. He appeared at the 2025 AFC, the American Football Coaches Convention or Association, and he gave like a 40-minute speech about where he came from and his philosophy. And he talked about being a young kid in Pittsburgh and, like, listening to the Johnny Majors show and talking about how in 3rd grade he knew that the only thing he ever wanted to do in his life was be a college football head coach. Nobody listens to this guy speak, and it's insane, but he talks, and you can go listen to him, and he's pretty honest when he speaks. He's not going to the NFL. It's not happening. I want to move on briefly to something that we're both going to fly past, but we have to mention the fact that the portal has been absolutely going insane. The class of 2027 has been absolutely going insane. Brad, I don't know if you've been able to watch Jahai Brown's highlight tape or anything like that, but master of the eye test, I know you're going to love that kid. But I want to hold off on any of the future stuff until next week, because we're days away from playing for a national championship. So I really don't want to look too far ahead. But man, what an exciting weekend. Did you get a chance to, like, check in on any of those guys?
Run that by me again. Run that by me again one more time.
Transfer portal additions, class of 2027. Did you see any of what Indiana was able to get done over the weekend?
I saw AJ Harris. That's the guy we actually previewed when we did Penn State. He's a very highly touted DB coming into this year. Didn't have the season that he was thinking of. I think Indiana could take good care of him, is what I'll say. Feels like a Pons replacement. Not that that's easily replaceable. I will say that with a hammer. But 11 guys doing their jobs, I think he could fit right in. That's a hell of a talent to bring into that type of system and culture. Do we bring anyone else? I don't even know.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it was I'll fill you in later, and we're going to talk about it. I promise we're going to get into because we haven't done any portal stuff. We haven't really even talked about.
I haven't
Was
crunched
at
any
Beach
portal
Bowl.
film. I haven't done anything. I'm going to do my depth chart after the season, for preseason and.
Like Brad, we made a pact. Like we are focused on the 2025, and now we're into 2026 Indiana Hoosiers, and there's a whole off season at the Voice of College Football to talk about the transfer portal and who we're bringing in and the class of 27 and the depth chart and all that. And it's unbelievably exciting if you're somebody who's been paying attention, but it's not what I want to put the spotlight on today. So that's why brief check in, and then I'll fill you in later, and we'll move on.
I have a name for the off season. 8 months of rat poison. Ha! It's a Norm Macdonald-esque joke right there. Bang. Nailed it. Nailed it.
Did you see I know you're not a Twitter guy, but there was a nice Bison. If you follow Nice Bison, he put up a graphic comparing the two schools, and our friend Coach Pundit put up that it's the Malik Renew Bowl.
It is the Malik Renew Bowl. And yeah, apparently we're playing basketball right now. I didn't even know. Usually I'm a big hoops head. Just haven't really gotten into it with everything going on with football. So
I am a supporter of Indiana basketball and
still playing football this weekend, and nothing's going to be changing.
Well said. We didn't talk about the fact that Elijah Surratt is now officially an Adidas athlete. He's a part of the three-stripe life. To your point, you said earlier you don't see any way he goes past 64 picks. If you start looking at Adidas roster of talent, especially the guys that they have in the league, I think that's a pretty good prediction from the master of the eye test. But shout out to Elijah Surratt. Guy was literally a 0-star recruit, started at the Division II level, worked his way all the way up to being a multiple-time All-Big Ten guy, like All-American. He has a chance, if he scores a touchdown on Monday, to tie James Hardy for the program record of 15 receiving touchdowns in a season.
Unbelievable. Omar Cooper was looking to break that at some point. Like, he was on pace. I guess things kind of slowed down for him. But yeah, like we talk about the overarching story of Indiana football and it being the greatest sports story of all time. I get sick of it when people are like, it's the greatest college football story of all. No. This is the greatest sport. This is not a biased take either. This is like, as I follow all of it, right? That's why I'm master of the eye test. I see it through all sports. It translates to all sports. Knowing who the dogs are, the Jimmies and the Joes, right? This is the greatest sports story, period. I don't even know if it's that close, to be quite honest. I can't really think of anything that compares to this. I mean, you can maybe point to the Knights going to the Stanley Cup in their first ever season, but like bad expansion draft rules. Like, it's that.
Yeah, maybe like, you know what I can think of, Brad? Like
right?
Maybe the 2013 Red Sox, like the Boston Strong team that rebounded off the marathon bombing.
Maybe the 04, but even then, it's like, in terms of like, they have outside of sports events that kind of prop it up, right? This is a true, just like changing of a team, a culture, a story of underdogs, top to bottom of this roster. Like it like, talk about what Surratt went through. You talk about what Lou Moore went through throughout his career, being in JUCO for God knows how long, forever it seemed like, which is why he's like 26, and we're getting all this.
He's like 23.
I'm leaning into the Indiana's so old.
Dude, we also added a 29-year-old punter who was playing like Australian tackle wrestling or something. Yeah, he's a kind of a monster.
There's just so many like overlooked guys, like Hardy, 0-star recruit. Literally got overlooked on this own podcast. His first, like, when we first went through that thing. But as soon as I saw him with my eyes, everything changed.
Well, no, don't implicate me in that. Because what did I tell you? I said if Curt Cignetti is bringing him in, we have to talk about him.
It's true. And I kind of cast him aside. I did. But as soon as I saw him with my eyes, I knew what we had. I knew we had something. But yeah, that's why you don't go on 24/7 and look at the stars and just cast people off. Like, it's just not. That's something I've learned throughout my my 2 years of doing this show, and
I've
knew
learned
that.
that most people aren't watching film. That's what I've learned.
That's so true. And yeah, just so many good stories. The best sports story of all time. There's a reason why it was on 60 Minutes. They don't do a whole lot of sports stories, let me tell you. I think we're the first sports story they did since like Bama Saban. You know, like when they wanted to interview Saban, who was just dominating college football at the time. You know, something we've never really seen before and may not ever see, to be quite honest. But we'll see. Cignetti has something to say about that. And yeah, good for him, man. For it to all to culminate to become an Adidas athlete, like St. Francis University, right? The Flashes, I believe, is what they are. Yeah, they have the lightning bolt helmet, like the Chargers, and pretty cool. That is Division 1A or AA, but still an amazing story of like redemption and underdog and just being able to beat adversity and defy the odds and make it all the way. Like there's so many like individual stories you can pick and choose from this team throughout the players, and then for it to all culminate into playing in the national title as an undefeated 1 seed with the chance to become the first ever team, because we're not going to include pre-1900, are we? So first ever team to go 16-0, the truest of true undisputed national champions, is amazing.
One of the coolest things that's happening on top of that, Brad, is Bison Drop, which has popped up in the last 2-3 weeks, is doing a whole bunch of really cool shit. I'm not sure you're gonna don't disrespect. Yeah, and this is
I'll disrespect 1894 Yale all day.
No. This is a pro Yale. We like Yale on this podcast. They were pro Fernando Mendoza. They believed in our guy. Like how can we not?
I like Yale. I'm just being an ass.
But I was gonna say Bison Drop's been absolutely incredible. They have a bunch of cool stuff on there. You can go bid on stuff. They have game used footballs and Hoosier the Bison's patches from his jerseys from the bowl games. But my favorite thing that they're doing is social drops, where you can, if you're somebody who spends a chronic amount of time on Twitter like I do, they're giving fans an opportunity to make a creative tweet and win types of memorabilia. And last week it was Brian Haynes' belt from the Alabama game, and this week it's the liquid chalk that the Miami fans think that Indiana was cheating with against Oregon.